And we're back with another special edition of the Huge Pop Sports Podcast. It is draft day. It is one of my favorite times of year. It is the NFL draft. We get to see what the new era brings for this new season. What we get to look forward to for our favorite teams. What are they going to do to help improve and get to that next level? And or in the case of the Kansas City Chiefs, what are they going to do to stay at that championship level? Hopefully not draft a kid who's going to play 1 year and hit a dude with a car. But we're gonna kind of do a mock draft as we go. We're gonna kind of break down what position like what we think at the number one spot should go to, like what the Bears should get, what they should go after, and what they will go after, and that kind of stuff. But again, it's me, it's that MA double T. Riding with me as always, my bro Ski Scott. What's up, dude?
What's up? How you doing, Murray? Talk about NFL football, NFL draft.
Cool news. If you follow me on Facebook, you'll probably get really sick of me posting here in the next few days. I'm very lucky to be what's going on, Justin? Thanks for joining. So here it is. I'm very blessed and lucky to be able to be part of the Detroit Lions Legend Camp that rolls through Clare every year. This year we have a new person coming in, the last quarterback to win a playoff game before Jared Goff did it this season. Eric Kramer is going to be at the camp this year.
Nice.
So I'm really excited for that. I'm still in talks with a couple of people that are higher up inside of that camp to potentially get Mr. Jeff Chadwick, former wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, on the show. I think he would have a lot of great, cool stories to tell and just talk about his organization that we're running through to provide the camp for the kids. It's just a really cool camp to be part of, and I'm so blessed to be part of it.
Thanks, Justin, man. Thanks, appreciate that.
So, I guess we can just kick it straight off with the number one overall pick goes to the Chicago Bears. They clearly are going to take a quarterback, ladies and gentlemen. They clearly are going to take a quarterback, trading Justin Fields away in the offseason.
Now,
I'll let you go first, but I want to make a statement. Yeah. I would not want to be in the position that Chicago has, because everyone wants this person that we're going to say is going to go number one, because every mock draft that I've read through, everyone has Caleb Williams one. I wouldn't, but when I'll let you talk about it, and then I'll share my opinion on the guy.
First of all, Justin Fields was, I think, a fantastic quarterback that wasn't ready for pros. I'll just say that. Great college quarterback. Good decision to trade him away. But everybody wants to talk about Caleb Williams, and he's a great quarterback, but I could go down the line and I could talk about different quarterbacks that have impressed the hell out of me in the draft, in the combines. I could talk about J.J. McCarthy, no favoritism. You got the kid from LSU. I do not understand why everything is so high up on the guy that didn't even take his team to the playoffs.
playoff.
That's the first thing I got to say. I would have went with the guy from Washington first, but everybody's saying Caleb Williams, and I'm not sure if I'd do that. I really am not. Matt's looking at me like I'm a dumbass, but I surely would not do that. I think I'd pick. I would hate to see JJ in Chicago, but I think he'd be a good pick too to be in Chicago. If I was Chicago Bears, I would pick, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the draft was JJ McCarthy. That's who I'd pick.
Well, okay.
I don't know if that's what you want me to say, Matt.
No, I mean, that's your opinion. And if it came down to me picking number one for Chicago, it would not be Caleb Williams. It would not be JJ McCarthy. I think the guy that would benefit the most from going to Chicago, and again, I'm going to probably catch a lot of hell for if when this gets released, is I think it would, to me, it's a coin flip between Jaden Daniels and Bo Nix. Both of those guys, in my opinion, are the only two quarterbacks that are ready on day one to step up under center. Yeah. Because the list of 5 quarterbacks that are going to go in the first round, I think there's 6 quarterbacks that are projected to go in the first round. The list of those 6, I can find faults on all of them. There's good for all of them, but there's also a lot of faults. Like JJ McCarthy, maybe we didn't really get to see what his arm was about at Michigan because we ran the ball. So we don't know if he has that.
Did you see his last throw day the other day? He had throw day, and man, he was lighting it up.
Yeah, but that's without pads, and like
I get that, and I get that.
I think he would benefit more for what's going to happen later in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, so my question to you, Matt, would be, okay, so if Caleb Williams is the number one guy, everybody's talking about Caleb Williams, and the kid from Washington, I'm not really, so maybe you can bring him up to speed. How many drafts does Chicago have in that first round?
I think they got, 3 in the first round?
So, if there's that many quarterbacks, and that kid from Washington is the guy that you think that they fit better, or the kid from LSU.
Well, no, Bo Nix is from Oregon.
I'm sorry, Bo Nix, Oregon, and the guy from LSU. Would you think that they grab Marvin Harrison Jr. first, then pick that quarterback later on in the first round? Because one of those guys are going to be around. I don't know.
I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is worth the number 1 pick.
I'm just saying he's the best wide receiver in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take Marvin Harrison Jr. first. Okay. I would get my franchise quarterback right out of the bat. And if it was me picking, it wouldn't be Caleb Williams, but it will be Caleb Williams tonight when the clock strikes 0. It will be Caleb Williams. It's just how this whole thing's gonna. I will be shocked. I will be shocked if it's JJ. If it's JJ, I will be just like I'll be shocked.
And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's other quarterbacks than JJ. And the fear I have with quarterbacks in the NFL coming right out of college, you can be a stud of a running back and a badass receiver, and immediately you'll make an impact. A lot of these first round quarterbacks, Justin Fields, end up not being a professional NFL quarterback or as good as they were in college. And that's my struggle. I don't want Caleb Williams to get drafted number 1 and fall flat on his face. I mean, McCarthy, you said it. McCarthy's not even ready. I don't think McCarthy's ready. He needs to go to a team that can sit behind the starter. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think the only place he belongs that he would be able to start right now would be for the Chargers.
Yes.
And they're sitting at number 5. But we'll get to that here in a few minutes.
Oh yeah, I guess Caleb Williams would probably be the number 1. I mean, but I don't like it. I don't like a quarterback being picked number 1.
I don't like the fact that, I mean, I think Justin Fields is a lot nicer of a quarterback than Caleb.
Correct. So you're giving up something to get something worse.
And I hope the Steelers just absolutely crush it this year.
Absolutely. I mean, I might be a Steelers fan, even though I don't like Ohio State, but they got Justin Fields is a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I was shocked that Chicago let go. I'm like, okay.
So number 2, the Washington Commanders coming in at 2. All, like, again, it's going to sound like I'm reading down the mock drafts because we're all kind of in the same collective boat. I think anyone who's watched football in the last year and a half, they see the different things that are going on. So yeah, my mock draft is pretty much the same as every other mock draft out there. Jaden Daniels, Heisman winner. I would take him over. I personally, if I'm picking between Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels, I'm taking Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels will probably go number 2.
Yeah.
But if I was Washington, I wouldn't necessarily take Jaden Daniels. I would probably take Drake May. I think he's a little bit more sturdy of a quarterback. But Drake May will probably fall the next pick at number 3.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would say they do need a quarterback at Washington. And I would pick the kid from LSU for a second. I would have to do that.
Yeah, that's just the way it is. It's going to be. And Jaden Daniels will go number 2 to Washington.
Absolutely, yeah. That's for sure.
New England's another team. The Patriots, they need a quarterback. They need a quarterback very desperately. Haven't had a good quarterback since Tom Brady came through. They're in a complete rebuild mode right now, and it's going to be Drake May at number 3, I think, unless they get froggy and decided they want to take because they have a history of taking Michigan players. So I mean, they might reach out and go with JJ McCarthy at number 3.
I'm not gonna lie. I'd rather a team from a different division take him than a team from the Lions division. I've heard rumors that he might go to Minnesota, but of course, again, New England's they need a quarterback, and if we follow suit with what's projected, it'd be Drake May because that kid can go too. I mean,
Drake May is really good.
I mean, I remember having conversations with you during our Friday sports talk that North Carolina, for some reason, was a basketball team school. They made some noise in the football world too, in college football. So, yeah, I mean, Drake May's he's super.
Let's see, at number 4, we have the Arizona Cardinals sitting at 4. You know, at 4, Arizona Cardinals, they don't need a quarterback. They trying to get my phone to update. Yeah, they don't need a quarterback because they got Kyler Murray. They need a wide receiver, and I think that's when Marvin Harrison comes off the board. I think Marvin Harrison will be the first non-quarterback taken in the draft, and because Kyler doesn't have anyone to throw to.
Yep, I agree. I'd have to agree with that.
Again, if it for those of you watching, I'm legit. I'm essentially agreeing with, because I've done my research. I've been like talking with other people all week long. I work for a college in their football building, and we've kind of talked off and on about some of these players, and they're agreeing with a lot of these mock drafts that that it makes sense where these people will end up. Right. At number 5, this is where it gets a little dicey. The Chargers pick at 5. I've heard so many different scenarios. A lot of the people are saying that the Chargers hold at number 5. They don't take JJ at 5 because they have Justin Herbert, and they take Malik Neighbors from LSU, a wide receiver, to help Justin Herbert out. Is that something that could potentially happen? Yeah. I also feel like there could also be a trade with Minnesota and San Diego, or not San Diego, but the Chargers. And picture it if you will. There's a trade, and we have the Chargers sending Justin Herbert and when they pick, I think they have like the 26th pick as well in the draft.
What they got?
Because I thought they had something later on in the draft too.
Chargers.
I can't remember.
So the Chargers have let's see, one in the first round.
Well, okay, so I think what they could potentially do is the Chargers could send Justin Herbert and their second and third round draft picks to Minnesota for the number 11 pick. That's what I can see happening. Like, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I can see that happening. So they could end up taking Neighbors at 5. It gives them a wide receiver.
Right.
And then trade away their second, third round picks to Minnesota for their 11th pick. Because Justin Herbert for their 11th pick in and of itself would be worth it.
Well, who they pick in the 11th pick then?
Number 2 from Michigan.
Okay, yeah.
You picked J.J. McCarthy. And that would honestly be the steal of the draft. If that happened, that would be highway robbery in favor of the Chargers.
Yeah. Their coach would love that, wouldn't they?
Oh, it'd be amazing. But Malik Neighbors, or the Vikings do trade up. Maybe the Vikings do trade up and land in that 5 spot, and then they take J.J. McCarthy. Either one's going to happen.
Yeah.
More, probably leaning more towards seeing J.J. McCarthy twice a week or twice a year for us Lions fans.
Probably. I mean, if you're talking what the prediction is, talking about the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
They're saying their need is Joe Alt from an offensive tackle from Notre Dame.
And that wouldn't be a bad pick either because he's the best O-lineman in the draft.
Yeah. So that's one of those things where, when you get back down to the fifth pick, they start playing position-wise. What do we really need?
Yep.
Do they need Herbert's good. But, yeah. What's more important, I guess?
Bleacher Report, this is one that I'm looking at. Bleacher Report says Neighbors at 5 for the Chargers at wide receiver because they don't have any. They don't.
Right.
Mike Williams left, and so did Keenan Allen.
True.
Next up, we have the New York Giants again, another team that has 0 wide receivers to throw to, and Daniel Jones, the biggest waste of cap space that the Giants have ever had. I'm going wide receiver with this one too. Okay. Wide receiver because there are no running backs out there. Right. Because Blake Corum is not NFL ready for. He doesn't have the size. He's just too small. Unfortunately. But I'm going to say probably the Giants will probably take Rome Odunze from Washington.
If Malik Neighbors is gone, I would say that, yes.
If Malik's still around. So if the Vikings do trade up to that number 5, it's going to be Malik Neighbors falling to number 6 for the Giants.
Right.
But if Malik does get taken by the Chargers, you will probably see Rome Odunze at 6.
Yeah.
Number 7, it's again all depending on the Chargers at this point. Because the Titans do need an offensive line as well. They do need an offensive lineman. And you got to start at the OT and Joe Alt.
Yeah. Yeah, so their picks are going to depend on, like you said, what the Chargers do.
For the next couple, it's going to be like that. Yeah. It's what the Chargers do at 5 that really – it's just going to be a trickle-down effect from there. Absolutely. Number 8, Atlanta Falcons. They have their quarterback in Kirk Cousins, so they don't need anything there. They have a really good running back, so they really don't need anything offensively because Kyle Pitts plays tight end and kind of a wide receiver type player. They need help on defense, specifically in their secondary, because they're just like us in Detroit. We need that help on the secondary. Right. Now, the guy that Bleacher Report has him picking is Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo. Now, I saw him play this year. He's a lockdown defender because CMU plays Toledo. Right. Really super fast, super athletic, and they're saying that he is the best defensive player in the draft this year. But
so, Matt, so I got a question for you. I see two names that they're saying on the site I have. Now you have a kid from Alabama, Dallas Turner on the edge, compared to Quinyon Mitchell, cornerback for Toledo. Do you see a major difference in the ability in players at a SEC school compared to a MAC school? Or at that level, are they all that good?
I think they're all that good. I don't think there's, because you have to think to play D1 football, you have to be the top 1% of the top 2% of the top 5%. You know what I mean? To play at an elite level. And because sometimes the kid Murphy is the best defensive player in the draft. We haven't gotten to him yet.
Don't forget to hit the follow button on Twitch, please.
He's actually coming up next. I think he's going to be the number 9 pick. He's going to end up with Chicago Bear, Murphy. But I think for Quinion Mitchell, it's a need for, and that's the thing. Like, they need defense, and if I'm Atlanta, I am looking at Murphy because they need another edge rusher. They need someone like that. But I think in this to overlook a guy like Quinion Mitchell in the back half of your defensive secondary, it'd be kind of ridiculous on that one. Next up, we have Chicago Bears. Picking at 9. Again, it all depends on where people pick who. The Chicago Bears might pick a guy like Byron Murphy from Texas. Wouldn't doubt it. He's a good defensive lineman. Very, very solid kid. But I also wouldn't mind seeing them get some more help in their secondary as well.
Correct.
But probably going to end up taking Byron Murphy at 9.
Okay.
Number 10, the New York Jets. This is a slam dunk either way you want to go with it. In my opinion. They take Brock Bauer from Georgia. The Big Ten. That kid's a gamer. The only tight end in the draft worth drafting.
Right. Absolutely. He's a beast. I mean,
and he probably won't play tight end. They're already saying he's the next Travis Kelce.
how did he say how? I mean, that kid is money.
I don't think he's overrated at all. I think he is underrated. I think he's going to be the next. They're already comparing him to Travis Kelce. Like, he's going to be the next Travis Kelce. And what better quarterback to have? You must not watch the Lions because
or the Kansas City Chiefs. Let's go. Okay, so let me point out something. I learned that I'm not saying that I'm smart at all, but I watched the teams that made it far in the playoffs, and guess who they had? They had a badass tight end all the time.
Okay, so Hawkinson was on the Lions. We traded him. Sam Laporta, Lion. So tight ends in the first round. Kyle Pitts, he's a tight end. So yeah, tight ends in the first round. I don't know what. I'm pretty sure we had 2 first rounders that year, and we picked Laporta with our second.
I think what Matt's saying is that a tight end is an important piece of the game. It
doesn't matter where they're drafted, in my opinion, because to take a risk to take a shot with a guy like Laporta or a guy like Hawkinson, they get the job done. As rookies, they got the job done. So Sam Laporta was up for Rookie of the Year. All right. Hey, you know what, Boxes? Appreciate your coming in here. Hey, that's cool. That's cool. Thanks for the info. Now, I appreciate you coming in here. That's your opinion, and you're entitled to your opinion. But just know that Laporta, even though he was not a first rounder, he was all rookie, and he was on the Pro Bowl. He made the Pro Bowl team. And so I appreciate you coming in here, though. Next up, number 11, the Minnesota Vikings will pick at 11 unless they trade up. And if they don't trade up to number 5 to take to get JJ McCarthy, If they don't, they'll take him here because no one from 5 till 11 will take him. There's no need for a quarterback anywhere between 5 and 11. So that's just my opinion. I just think that either they trade up to that number 5, take him then, or wait for him to fall to 11. But either way, Minnesota's going to get themselves a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah. Again, I don't want to see JJ McCarthy in the same conference as we are. I think that kid's money. He's only going to get better.
So 12 is the Denver Broncos. They're projecting Dallas edge rusher Dallas Turner from Bama, the big fella. He definitely showed up in that semifinal game. He's probably the best. He's obviously the best edge rusher in the draft, and he is a gamer. But that's kind of a staple in the Bama defense. You know what I mean? Like they always have some sort of badass on the outside that's able to get it, like wreak havoc on the inside. So Denver they need a quarterback too, but I think they need more defense than they do offense at this point. So I'm going to agree with this one and say Dallas Turner probably at 12.
Yep. And they do have another edge, that kid from UCLA, Latu. He's good. He's at the edge position as well. But I think you're right, Dallas Turner. You have to do that.
The Vegas Raiders are up next. There's a couple picks that they could go with here. They could end up taking Bo Nix. They could end up taking Michael Penix Jr. But I think before they do anything like that, they need to address the hole up front. They need to address the offensive line that has shaky at best. I'm going to say they're probably going to take offensive tackle J.C. Latham from Bama. That's my pick on that one.
I mean, there's that cornerback Terran Arnold from Alabama. They do need a cornerback as well, I think. But I think you're right. Where does it start? Where does a good offense start? It starts with the line. Let's build that up.
I mean, J.C. Latham is the second best guy behind Alt.
Yeah, sure.
On the offensive line, but so if you can't have Alt, you might as well go with J.C. Make sure that helps whoever's going to be under center for the Raiders this year. Right. Number 14 with the New Orleans Saints. This one was a little bit of it was tough for me to figure out who I thought they were going to take. There's all the ones all of the mock drafts that I've read pretty much said that they were going to take Troy, that Troy kid. I can't pronounce his last name. The big fella from Washington. That linebacker. Okay. I think. No, I'm sorry. Offensive line. Fautnadu.
Fautnadu,
yeah. Like that's again. We'll have a few off. This draft itself is heavy with offensive players. It's heavy with the O-line, the quarterbacks and receivers. It's heavy with those. So Fautnadu at 14, I think is pretty much a lock. I think because the Saints are rolling with Jimmy G.
What about that kid from Penn State, that Alu Fashanu? That's the guy you're talking about?
No, he's from Washington, University of Washington. Next up, we have the Colts. they're gonna need some wide. They're in need of a because they got decent defense. They have a good offensive line. They really need another guy to help out Jonathan Taylor. They need a wide receiver. They need another guy like a Marvin Harrison from back in the day. They need someone like that. And what better guy to do that is Brian Thomas from LSU.
That's true. Yeah.
He's got speed on the outside. He isn't afraid to get physical,
Right.
and I think he's one of those guys that can make a difference.
Yeah.
16, the Seattle Seahawks. This is where I personally would like to see Michael Penix Jr. go. I think because his offensive coordinator from Washington is now the Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator. He also has DK Metcalf. He has I'm drawing a blank on his name. The other TJ Lockett, and Rashad Penny. They have a lot of really good players on the offensive side of the ball to help Penix out. I think that would be a perfect fit for him. It's in his backyard. Penix has been playing in Washington for the last couple of years, and the University of Washington is in Seattle. So that's almost, and to me, it's a slam dunk.
Who's their quarterback now? Seattle Seahawks.
I don't know.
Okay? So we're talking about quarterbacks. I need a quarterback. Would Penix be ready to go day one? Is he NFL ready?
The only concern I have with Penix is his durability, because his injury, he showed that he has had injuries.
I mean, our defense in the Natty, right? We played them, yeah.
Yeah, we knocked him out.
I mean, he was mid at best. We took care of him. I don't know, man.
I mean, this one has them taking Jared Verse from Florida State, the edge rusher. Now, that's the guy, if he could fall another 13 picks to 29, I would love that. Because, I mean, I think putting him on the opposite side of Aiden Hutchinson would just be an absolute nightmare for all NFL teams that play the Lions. But probably not going to happen. At 17, we got the Jacksonville Jaguars. They need a little bit of everything. They're kind of one of those teams like Cody's team, the Buffalo Bills. They need a little bit of help at every position, because they just don't have that extra. They don't have the young talent that they can just slide in, like say a Detroit or San Francisco has. So they're probably going to go with Terrion Arnold, defensive back from Alabama.
They need a wide receiver so their quarterback can throw the ball to somebody. Their quarterback's not bad.
No, but I think you can get a good wide receiver in the second round.
Think so?
Romeo Wilson from Michigan, he'll be available in the second round because he's not a first rounder, and I think he'd be a prototype good possession receiver.
What about Brian Thomas Jr. from LSU? That receiver.
He will probably fall into the second round.
Think so?
Yeah. Okay. At 18, we got the Cincinnati Bengals. They need more. They need an offensive line.
Yeah.
Because they need to make sure Joe Burrow stays upright.
Yep.
And so I'm probably going to take that offensive tackle from that Fuga
right.
From Oregon State. I think he's probably the best available offensive lineman.
The offensive lineman from Georgia, Armarius Mims, he's good.
Yeah, I think he falls a little bit later. I think he'll fall. Yeah, I think Talasia Fuga from Oregon State, just it seems like a better fit in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the 19. We had 19. We have the Rams. Picking at 19. They need offensive line help as well to keep Matt Stafford upright. I think they go with that offensive tackle from Penn State, Bashuno.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. Yeah.
Because they run the ball a lot. They run the ball a lot, and so does Penn State. So it's one of those things. Does he fit here? What piece of the puzzle is good for here?
Correct. Yes.
Number 20, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers, another team. This is the part of the draft where you're going to see a lot of O linemen going, I think. And this one might be that guy from Georgia,
yeah.
Mims, or Barton from Duke.
Right.
But it's a coin flip at that point.
Right. They're saying that on one of the sites, they're saying that Mims will go to Pittsburgh, or the Fuga guy that you're talking about, if he's available, that might be a better pick. So, but the guy from Duke's a solid pick too.
This one I've been kind of reading last couple of days. Number 21, the Dolphins taking Mims.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be a bad pick for them either. If he falls to 21, that would be an absolute steal for the Dolphins. He's your prototype lineman. He's the Georgia Bulldog.
Yeah.
22 rolls around. We have the Philadelphia Eagles. Projected here on this on this page, it says Tyler Guyton, Oklahoma offensive tackle.
Yep.
And another really good offensive tackle. Oklahoma always produces really good O linemen. Right. And Philadelphia has that need. They need an offensive lineman.
Yep. Yes, they do.
23, the Vikings. This is where it could be interesting. The Vikings have 2 picks in that first round. They could potentially trade both of those, and this is again, they could end up trading the 11 pick and this 23rd pick for that number 5 to get JJ McCarthy if they really want to make that move. And if they do, this could be the Chargers picking here as well. And this is kind of one of those things where you could end up picking the same guy that Minnesota might pick here, is that edge rusher Laiatu Latu from UCLA.
Right.
He's in his backyard, UCLA. He'd be a perfect fit for a team like the Chargers. 24, we got the Dallas Cowboys picking at 24. That's JB's team. They need help at every offensive position, and I love it. Sorry, JB, if you're still watching. But I love the fact that your team is absolutely drowning in this offseason. Troy Pollard, out of here. They're even talking about bringing Ezekiel Elliott back. That shit's funny. But wide receiver Xavier Worthy could be the guy. He's a guy from Texas. And he at the time would be the best wide receiver available.
Yeah.
Number 25, we got the Green Bay Packers. Coop taking probably the most athletic guy in the draft. Because I've been watching highlights of this kid playing high school basketball. His name's Cooper DeJean. If you get a chance, look him up.
Cooper DeJean, okay.
Cooper DeJean, high school basketball. His senior year, he was jumping from inside the foul line and just stuffing it home.
Nice.
He is Caucasian.
Wow.
The kid is crazy athletic.
What about this kid, Kool-Aid McKinstry? They got
Well,
him
we'll
on the. They got him on the radar too. From
that's the guy that I want the Lions to take.
okay,
That's the kid. If he can fall to 29 where we're picking, I really hope we can get Kool-Aid McKinstry.
all right, we'll go there.
But Green Bay Packers taking Cooper DeJean, one of the freak athletes in the draft. I think it'd be tremendous. Number 26, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Interior lineman again is a concern because they have so many holes. So their offensive line is like Swiss cheese. So I'm going to go ahead and say Jackson Power Johnson from Oregon, offensive tackle or offensive guard. I'm sorry. I think, and I think he's a setter as well. So I think that's kind of a slam dunk for me on that one.
I mean, as a guy in Florida watching Tampa, they need some offensive rushers, or defensive rushers as well. I mean, there's going to be a couple of guys, Chop Johnson, or Chop Robinson, or Jared Verse as edges. That kid from Florida State, Jared Verse, he's a good pick too to get them an edge guy.
Well, Jared Verse he won't be there at.
No,
he won't be there at 26.
I can dream.
27 got the Arizona Cardinals with another pick, and they need help on the defensive side. I think they take Chop. I think they take Chop from Penn State.
Yeah.
Chop Robinson. He played very well against Michigan.
Yeah.
28. We got the Buffalo Bills. Cody, if you're listening, this is going out to you. Bills. I think you guys probably take a wide receiver in this pick. You guys just lost. You guys lost Stephon Diggs in the offseason. You guys need a speedy guy on the outside. I think the guy for you is Adonai Mitchell from Texas.
Brilliant.
He is a deep threat. He is the guy. He is one of those game changer kind of guys. Number 29 goes to Detroit. I already a few minutes ago said who I thought they would take. This specific mock draft I'm looking at right here agrees with me. Cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alabama. And I think as this one right here, Kool-Aid is the fit. Detroit doesn't need anything offensively.
Right.
We just don't. Right. Our offense is not broken. We do not need a deep threat. We don't need anything like that.
Yep.
We need a guy on that defensive secondary that's going to get the job done, gonna lock kids down, gonna play his ass off in the secondary. So yes, Kool-Aid McKinstry is the guy, and if he's not there for whatever reason, I would take a long, hard look at Mike Sandstrom from Michigan. That man is an absolute beast.
Yes, 100%.
At number 30, we're looking at the Baltimore Ravens. So Kevin, if you're out there listening, this is who I think you guys are going to go after. It's you guys need help on that offensive line. You guys need help to keep Lamar Jackson upright. You have Derrick Henry in the backfield now. It's going to help you, right? So you need some help on that O-line to block. So I'm going to say you're going to go Patrick Paul out of Houston. I think that would be the safe pick for you guys because there's really no one else that you could really lock down in this position at this point in the draft that,
Right. At this side I'm looking at, they have Jordan Morgan from Arizona as an offensive tackle. That might be an option too if your pick's not there.
Next up, we got the San Francisco 49ers. Potentially losing David Ayuk is a concern. I'm gonna say they're probably gonna take a wide receiver to help out Deebo Samuel if that happens. They're probably gonna take. I'm gonna say Xavier Legette from South Carolina. He's very fast on the outside. But he can also be that slot receiver when needed. So yeah, David Legette, or I'm not David, and Xavier Legette from South Carolina goes to San Francisco at 31.
Yeah.
At 32, the last pick in the first round, and the last pick we're going to talk about here. And then we're going to end this, close it down. Again, thank you all. Before we actually, Kansas City, they need help a little bit everywhere. It's one of those things that they're trying to mold for the future. Defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman help, not an edge rusher, probably a defensive tackle. And I'm going to say maybe a guy like Jahan Newton from Illinois at defensive tackle.
I'm just going by what the site I'm reading. It says Lade McConkey from Georgia, the wide receiver. They're saying that Kansas City could use that as their 32nd pick. That they don't need another receiver, I guess.
Well, I mean, they might take a wide receiver in the second round too, because they could potentially be playing without Raheem Rice next year.
That's true too.
But thanks again, everyone. I didn't really advertise this for our special edition of the Draft Day special. Tomorrow we'll be coming at you with another episode of Huge Pop Sports Podcast, where we dissect what happens tonight in the draft. And then we'll also be talking about the MLB. The NBA playoffs are in full swing now, and the NHL playoffs. But we're going to be mainly talking about what happens tonight, what dominoes may fall after what happens. What we'll find out at number 5 what the Chargers are going to do.
Yep.
I mean, do they go bold and say, you know what, screw it, we're going to pick JJ without even trading anybody? Just, you know what? It could happen. We don't know. We could see something completely different and say Jim Harbaugh picks Blake Corum or Romeo Wilson.
And that's the thing, man. I mean, if I'm Jim Harbaugh, if I'm thinking what Jim Harbaugh's thinking, unfortunately, I know who he wants. He said it. He says JJ's the best player, and he's better now than he said when he was coaching him at Michigan. He's at a different level. And does he pick his home? Does he pick his boy just because?
Well, here's the thing too. It's really crazy to think about this. He compares him to Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Andrew Luck was all pro until he broke his back.
Yeah. Andrew Luck was potential Super Bowl champion until he broke his back too. I mean, that kid is, I don't know, man. We'll see.
It all starts tonight, 8:00 Eastern Standard Time on ESPN. You can check that out tonight and come back tomorrow. We'll have a discussion. Boxes, thank you for joining. Cody, thank you for stopping by. Just kind of give my shout outs right quick. Whoever else was here, I saw we had like five or 6 people. JB was here talking for a few minutes. El Capitan, thanks for stopping by. Again, drop us a like, drop us a follow on whatever you're watching this on. We love you guys. We love doing this. It's a lot of fun. It's like WrestleMania all over again for me because I love this stuff. And thanks again, guys. I can't say that enough.
Thank you, guys. Absolutely.